I read somewhere that police lights were designed to flash in a manner that made the human eye incapable to adjust to them, so they would be constantly noticeable. I've been testing this theory for 4 years. I've been on the force, and to be honest with you, I think it's true. Having the lights run without the sound has always been strange to me, but at this hour I don't want to wake anybody up pointlessly. Besides, there's no other cars on the road, and at this hour, and if I'm being honest, the lights themselves might not even be a necessity. I got a report of loud noises and possibly gunshots at the old school. Probably just a bunch of teenagers lighting off fireworks and pretending they see ghosts and shit again. I shook my head. Hopefully it's not those two stupid kids again, claiming they need to get in there to investigate. Those two were the worst. The Westchester boys? Winchendon? Who the fuck knows? My engine purred beneath the hood of my car as I sped up to where the school was. I flicked off the lights as I rounded the final corner and parked outside. I opened the door of my cruiser and got out, inspecting the gate with my flashlight. It looked like it was wide open. Someone must have forgot to lock it. I shook my head again. It's like they're asking for people to fucking break in here. I walked up to the gate and pushed it open. I tell you, I've never been one to believe in the paranormal, but this place did give me the creeps. I walked up to the front steps quietly and listened. It didn't sound like there were kids in there. I stood listening for another 2 or 3 minutes just to be sure, and then I decided they must have left. I walked over to one of the windows and shined my light in. Everything seemed to be normal. Car 4 to dispatch, I said to my shoulder radio.
Go ahead, car 4.
The voice answered. I started walking to the perimeter of the building, looking for signs of entry, shining my flashlight here and there. Looks like whoever was at the old school's gone now. I can't hear anything going on inside.
Roger that, car 4.
I'm gonna do a quick sweep to see if there's anything here. I'll let you know. Over. I walked around the perimeter of the building, which took quite a while since this place is pretty damn big. This wasn't the first time I've had to do it either. This place drew a lot of attention, especially around Halloween, with the local myth would circulate again that this place was haunted. Kids. Mine's never gonna turn out like that, I fucking tell you. I started walking around the school clockwise from the front door. I was just about ready to call it in when I saw something in the window. Something just looked odd. Looked like I said, I'd done this many times before, so I knew it was out of place. I walked up to the window and shined my light in. What I saw puzzled me. One of the door frames was all busted in and broken. It looked like someone had taken a sledgehammer to the sides of it. Fuck, I said to myself out loud. Car 4 to dispatch, I said spitefully into my radio.
Go ahead, car 4.
It looks like whoever did this did some damage to the building. I'm gonna see if I can get inside and check it out. Requesting backup.
Roger that, car 4. Car 2, please proceed to car 4's position and assist. Roger.
Bill said through the radio.
I'm about 5 minutes out. Car 4, proceeding now.
Roger that. Over, I said back. I jogged back to the front steps and unholstered my gun. I'm not sure if it was the instincts I gained from the 2 tours in Iraq, or just a strange way the door frame was busted, that something just wasn't right here. I slowly made my way up to the front door and tried the knob. Much, but not really. To my surprise, it turned. The door swung open gently and silently. I raised my flashlight under my pistol and scanned the foyer. Nothing really amiss here. I started walking down the hall and to the right towards the back corners of the building where the door frame was busted in. I got halfway down the hall when I realized it was impossible to walk without creaking on the floorboards. I got anxious and sped up my pace a little. The door frame was busted in pretty bad. It looked like whoever did this was in the room and busting in towards the hallway. I moved into the room and didn't have to look long before I saw a hole in the floor. It looked like 4 or 5 floorboards had been ripped right up, and not gracefully at that. Slowly I walked over to the hole and shined my light into it. There was something down there, I just couldn't make out what. I squatted down on my heels and started to stare for a few seconds before I realized it. They were bones. I shined my light around a little more. There was fucking tons of them. Admittedly, though, I wasn't that scared. until I noticed the painting. The bones sat somewhere in a pile, but all around that were these weird drawings that looked like a cross between Arabic and Mandarin. I got the chills and pressed the button to talk into my radio. Car 4 to Car 2, what's your status?
About 2 minutes, Car 4.
Roger, try to speed it up, over. I got off my heels and inspected the room a little more closely. The floorboards looked like the nails were pried up somewhat. Whoever did this knew where to look. Some of them were broken though, so the person must have been in a hurry, doing this frantically, almost as if, "Fuck me, man," I said under my breath. I traced what I saw across the floor with my flashlight. All across the floor were deep gouges and scratches. I inspected the ones closest. It looked like whatever it was on its 2 feet, but it only left 2 scratches with each stride. Chills ran down my spine. This definitely doesn't feel right. Something is not right here. I got up and followed the scratch marks down the hall. They took me to a right turn where it looked like something had smashed into the corner. They led down a hall into a room on the left. I slowed my approach as I noticed that this door frame had been busted in as well, but this time it was busted from the hallway into the room. As I stood there inspecting the frame, I heard something, a faint drip, like a leaky faucet dripping onto a wet plate. There might be someone in here after all. I swallowed hard and turned the corner, shining my flashlight wherever I pointed my gun. Then I saw it. There, slumped against the wall, was what was left of a human being. I shined my light on his hands and saw the revolver. Suicide. Slowly I approached the body. It looked like whoever it was had a huge bag with them, with what looked like to be tools inside. I guess I know now who dug up the floorboards. I heard the door of Bill's cruiser slam outside. It was strange. I'd found suicide victims before, seen a lot of dead bodies, but I just felt some sort of connection to this one. Something I just couldn't put my finger on. I heard Bill's heavy footsteps as he bounded the foyer. "Jeff?" I heard him call out nervously. "Back here, Bill," I yelled. I heard his heavy, waddling footsteps make their way back to where I was, and I heard him panting before he was even in the room. Poor Bill. Guy couldn't run a beer tap without getting winded. "Oh, fuck, Jeff," he said when he saw the body. "Yeah, fuck is right, Bill, old buddy," I said, looking over the body. Guy ripped up the floorboards and in the other room, and for whatever reason, then he came in here and blew his brains out. Bill stood there in silence for a moment. Some cops just get it quicker than others. In terms of Bill and I, let's just say I was playing chess and he was playing checkers. "Well, I'll call it in dispatch. They need to get the forensics team in here. A noise cut Bill off. It was a phone. It was his phone, the dead man's phone. Now, they tell you to never contaminate a crime scene, never to touch anything until forensics had got there, but I'd never broken any of the rules before on the job. Hell, I'd never even wore a fucking uniform without making sure it was ironed every morning. But something inside me, something in the back of my mind told me that I had to answer that phone. I squatted back and reached into his pocket where it was ringing. "Jeff! What are you doing? We can't—" "Oh, fuck off, Bill, you big pussy," I said as I finally got up the phone loose. I looked at the front screen. There's only a first name for whoever's calling. Eli. I pressed answer and held the phone up to my ear but didn't say anything. There was a short pause and then,
"Hello? Doctor?"
"This is Officer Jeff Danvers of the Towson Police Force." There was a pause again. This time a little longer.
"Where did you find this phone?"
Whoever this Eli was, he wasn't stupid. "I found it in the pocket of a dead body at a crime scene. I'm sorry, but I think this doctor you're trying to reach has passed away." There was another pause, and I began to feel uneasy. Fuck, what was I thinking answering this call? "I'm sorry, sir," I said again.
"Were you the one who found him?"
he asked. I was slightly taken aback by this question. "Found him?" I responded.
"Yes, were you the one who first found his body?"
he asked, sounding a little more worried this time. Yes, sir, I found the body only about 5 minutes ago." What I heard next, though, I didn't know it then, would change my life forever.
"Sweet Jesus. You poor boy.
Is all I heard the man say before the line cut out.